There are multiple religions spread throughout the world, each claiming to possess the truth, each promising salvation to its followers. However, not all authentically reveal the face of God, nor do all truly lead humankind to eternal heaven. Among all these religious expressions, one stands out particularly for its nature and origin, that born in the sands of the Arabian desert. Its very name carries profound meaning, from the Arabic word Islam, which means submission, obedience, complete surrender. It is a religion founded on the concept of conquest, born not of divine love, but of human power. From the scorching deserts of Arabia to the gates of Christian Europe, it advanced not through authenticated miracles or genuine persuasion, but through the sword, through the cry that would echo through the centuries. Believe or die. St. John Bosco, who became known as the priest and educator dedicated to youth, observed this religion with the clear eyes of genuine faith and profound philosophical reason. For he understood with certainty that the true church that Christ founded wins hearts through authentic charity, while false religions dominate through fear and coercion. In his celebrated work entitled The Catholic Educated in His Religion, Dialogues of a Father with His Children, originally published in 1853, he deliberately sought to protect souls from spiritual confusion and doctrinal error that could lead them to perdition. Among its many significant chapters, one stands out for its remarkable clarity and apologetic depth, the 13th Dialogue on Mohammedanism, as it was commonly called at the time. And there St. John Bosco writes with paternal seriousness and careful pedagogy. Muhammad could not perform any miracles to confirm his teaching because he was not sent by God. Only God is the true author of all genuine miracles. That singular and powerful sentence divides the entire religious history of humanity into two distinct paths. For Christ revealed himself through undeniable divine power, through transcendent mercy, through miracles witnessed by countless multitudes who saw his authority over nature and over death itself. Muhammad, in contrast, offered no miracles that could authenticate his mission. Christ preached genuine forgiveness and reconciliation. Muhammad preached submission through force. Christ founded his church with the blood of his own voluntary sacrifice on the cross. Muhammad built his empire with the blood of other human beings through war and conquest. This is where the true story begins, the story of two profoundly different kingdoms, two completely opposite visions of the human soul, one born of divine love, the other born of force and domination. The book by St. John Bosco opens not with dry argumentation, but with genuine tenderness and paternal love. A father sits beside his children and teaches them what truly matters in the depths of eternal existence. There is no knowledge, he says with conviction, more important for a Catholic than that which properly instructs him in his own religion and faith. For faith is not merely an abstract theory or an intellectual philosophy. It is the very foundation of the soul, that upon which all the actions and choices of a life rest. The father reminds his children that the true church, the Roman Catholic Church, has endured and persevered through every imaginable persecution, through every empire that tried to destroy it, through every heresy that sought to divide it, and yet remains visible, victorious and profoundly serene despite all opposition. It never fought with swords and war machines, but with endless patience and genuine charity. Its permanence and resilience throughout the centuries, he affirms, can only be explained by one reality, the divine power that sustains its structures. After establishing this solid foundation of truth, he begins to speak about false and deceptive religions, those that have broken down and deviated from revealed truth or never fully possessed it. Judaism, which rejected Christ, pagan idolatry, which worshipped idols of wood and stone, Mohammedanism, born of human ambition, and the various Christian sects that abandoned Rome and the authority that Christ had established. But among all these, one religion in particular had deceived millions of souls and continues to deceive multitudes in modern times: Islam, with all its structure of power and control. If you understand the importance of this distinction between true faith and false religions, if you see how the words of St. John Bosco remain relevant even centuries later, we ask that you subscribe to our channel now. Your subscriptions allow us to continue sharing the teachings of saints and Catholic apologetics that defend the truth in times of spiritual confusion. Press the subscribe button, activate notifications, and allow us to help you better understand your faith. The world needs these truths now more than ever. St. John Bosco recounts how Muhammad was born in the year 570 AD in the city of Mecca, the son of an idolatrous pagan father and a mother of Jewish origin. Deeply ambitious for material wealth and the fame he desired to achieve, he traveled as a merchant along the trade routes of Arabia and eventually married a wealthy widow who possessed considerable fortune. However, deep in his heart, he longed for something far greater than mere earthly wealth, not for genuine holiness, but for absolute domination over others, for the ability to wield power and authority. Frequently afflicted by epileptic seizures that left him unconscious, he deliberately deceived his naive followers, falsely claiming that his convulsions and bodily contortions were actually sacred visions of the angel Gabriel descending upon him. It was a calculated and premeditated lie, and it marked the true beginning of a religion built on illusion and deception. The supposed miracle of Muhammad that his followers believed was that the moon had once fallen into his sleeve, and that he had placed it back in the sky. His credulous followers accepted this absurd tale as sacred truth, and so the crescent moon would become the symbol of the religion, a symbol born of lies and fantasy. It was not genuine faith. It was pure manipulative deception, but his countrymen in Arabia soon recognized him for the fraud he truly was, a dangerous social agitator, a disturber of the public peace. Condemned to death by the leaders of Mecca who understood his predatory nature, Muhammad fled to the city of Medina, gathering a band of criminals and outlaws who became his first disciples and his first soldiers. With these men of questionable character, he began a systematic campaign of conquest and domination, transforming religion into constant warfare and prayer into forced submission. The character of the Father in St. John Bosco speaks with absolute clarity and without mincing words. Muhammad spread his religion not through authenticated miracles or persuasion based on genuine reason, but through the brute force of arms. Favoring all forms of libertinism and moral liberalism, he became the leader of a formidable band of robbers and plunderers. It was not the gospel of peace that Christ had preached. It was a kingdom founded on fear, coercion, and violence. Where Christ proclaimed, "Love your enemies and do good to those who hate you," Muhammad cried out, "Destroy the infidels." Where the apostles carried the cross as a symbol of redemption, their followers carried the sword as a symbol of domination. The holy book of Islam, the Quran, is not an authentic revelation from God, but a chaotic mess. An arbitrary mixture of elements from Judaism, Christianity, and pagan superstition, arranged not by divine inspiration, but by political and strategic convenience. St. John Bosco observes that Muhammad himself could neither read nor write. The Quran was compiled by a Jewish scribe and an apostate monk who had abandoned his vows, both filled with contradictions and serious moral errors. In it, the Virgin Mary is confused with Miriam, the sister of Moses who lived centuries earlier. Personal revenge is permitted and even encouraged. Lying is excused if one fears death. Paradise is described not as the beatific vision of God, but as an eternity of carnal and lascivious pleasures. St. John Bosco writes with conviction that its doctrines are so obscene and degrading that the Christian soul trembles even to name them publicly. And then comes the great and absolute contrast between Muhammad and Christ that divides the entire history of salvation. Muhammad built his religion with violence, war, and bloodshed. Christ built his church with genuine peace, voluntary sacrifice, and transcendent love. Muhammad exalted uncontrolled passion and carnal appetites. Christ demanded genuine self-denial and mastery over lower impulses. Muhammad produced no miracles to authenticate his mission. Christ healed the blind, raised the dead, and calmed storms with a word. The doctrines of Muhammad are corrupting to the soul and absurd in their essence. Those of Christ are sublime, pure, and manifestly divine in origin. In Muhammad, no prophecy was genuinely fulfilled. In Christ, all the prophecies of the Old Testament found their fulfillment and their end. Islam promises a heaven of unlimited lust and physical pleasures. Christianity promises the beatific vision of God and eternal communion with the divine. Islam enslaves man to constant fear and forced obedience. Christianity liberates man through genuine love and transforming grace. Thus, St. John Bosco teaches that the two founders remain opposed to each other, just as darkness opposes light. One degrades the human soul to its lowest instincts, the other redeems and elevates it. The divinity of a religion is not proven by its temporal power and its ability to conquer territories, but by its inner holiness and the holiness it produces in the souls of its followers. The Church of Christ has remained visible, vibrant, and present for 2,000 years, always visible to the eyes of the world, always attacked by enemies, and yet always alive and flourishing spiritually. Powerful empires have fallen into ruin and disappeared from history. False religious sects and movements have vanished completely. Political and philosophical ideologies have rotted and died in the pits of forgotten history. But the Church remains. Why? Because its foundation is not frail and mortal man. It is the eternal and almighty God. St. John Bosco writes with profound conviction, "In every age, even amidst the bloodiest persecutions that history has ever known, the Church has stood as an unshakable pillar, always glorious, always visible, always victorious, using no weapon other than genuine charity and infinite patience." This permanence and resistance throughout the centuries, he insists, can only come from the omnipotent power of God that sustains its invisible structure. Islam, born in violence and bloodshed, spread by systematic violence and maintained by perpetual fear, has managed to conquer nations and territories through its military campaigns, but has never managed to genuinely conquer human hearts. It has managed to destroy cities and civilizations through war, but has never managed to destroy the sin that dwells in human hearts. It has managed to fill mosques with the bodies of forced worshippers, but has never managed to create true saints. For genuine holiness cannot be imposed by external force or coercion. It must be freely chosen by the human will in response to divine love. And this is precisely the distinctive mark of the true Church of Christ. It does not impose truths through force. It proposes them with patience. It does not threaten with death and condemnation. It invites with love and mercy. It does not conquer territories through fear and the sword. It conquers hearts through transforming love. The dialogue of St. John Bosco ends not with anger or furious condemnation, but with genuine sadness, the paternal sadness of a father for the spiritual death of those who live in fundamental error and deception. St. John Bosco wished his young readers to understand clearly that not all religions are equal in truth or spiritual value. Truth is not divided into contradictory fragments. There is only one Christ, only one Church founded by him, only one true path to salvation for all humanity. He does not mock Muslims or treat them with contempt. Rather, he deeply sympathizes with them. He clearly demonstrates that their faith was born of propagated ignorance and coercive political power, not of true divine revelation. He writes with compassion, "Muhammad could not perform a single miracle. He was not sent by God." And then he points to Christ, the only one who healed, forgave, and willingly died to save all sinful humanity. The contrast is absolutely eternal and irreconcilable. The cross versus the crescent moon, mercy versus authoritarian domination, transformative love versus paralyzing fear. For almost 2 millennia, the Catholic Church has survived and overcome every empire that tried to destroy it, every heresy that sought to divide it, every contemporary philosophy that tried to replace it. And this permanence, this serenity, this spiritual luminosity, this miraculous quality, is itself the most magnificent proof of its divine origin. The prophetic vision of St. John Bosco remains relevant and urgent. He saw that the greatest danger to the human soul is false religion disguised as truth, doctrinal error covered with an appearance of genuine devotion, submission without divine grace. For man was not created to serve temporal power or brute force. He was created to love God with all his heart. He was not created to bow down under the sword and the threat of death. He was created to kneel willingly before the cross of Christ. The kingdom of Christ is not of this temporal and material world. His weapon is not steel and iron, but infinite mercy. His victory is not territorial domination, but the redemption of souls. And throughout all the centuries of history, his church continues to shine as the only true ark of salvation, intact, unshakable, manifestly divine in its origin and purpose. At the end of the 13th dialogue of St. John Bosco, the Father turns to his sons and speaks softly with profound paternal love. Christ has raised man above irrational animals. False religion drags him back down among the beasts. Choose, my children, which kingdom you will serve. This is not merely a warning that awakens terror. It is a divine call to truth and freedom. For faith is not something passively inherited. It is something that must be actively chosen at every moment. And each soul must decide for itself: the sword or the cross, fear or love, forced submission or liberating truth. St. John Bosco, the gentle and dedicated educator of youth, gave the world not only schools of pedagogical excellence, but spiritual light. He wrote for the salvation of souls, to defend the truth against the errors of his time. And even now, his words remain as a powerful shield against contemporary spiritual confusion. The Church conquers not through brute force and temporal power, but through endless patience and genuine charity. It endures, and its very permanence is the miracle that the world cannot completely deny. If this video has opened your eyes to the profound wisdom of St. John Bosco, if it has helped you understand the critical difference between authentic faith and manipulative fear, between the cross that redeems and the sword that oppresses, then help us spread his teaching. Share this video so that others too may discover the truth he defended until death. And if you wish to remain with us in the mission of bringing the light of genuine Catholic faith to a world in spiritual darkness, subscribe to our channel and help us carry forward the eternal voice of the saints. Because the truth, once known, must be generously shared. And as St. John Bosco masterfully taught, only genuine truth sets the human heart free.